What's going on, beautiful people? How you doing? This is your girl, Mommy So True. Shout out to all my subscribers. If you're new to my channel, I am Mommy So True. I'm just here to share my perspective, my experience, my thoughts, and to share the truth behind all this narcissism and narcissistic behaviors and narcissistic traits and narcissistic personalities and all of this that we're hearing and learning about narcissists. If you're already subscribed to my channel, you know that I low-key don't have a filter. I do not hold back, and I'm going to say things that a lot of people may disagree with, and I just need to let y'all know that I really do not care. I'm not here for validation, you guys. I am here to just share my thoughts. I am here to share what I know, to share what I know is true, to share my experience behind it, and it is completely okay when people don't agree. One thing I will never tolerate in my community, because I do believe a lot of people are trying to heal from this abuse. They are trying to understand why it's happening to them. That is the major purpose of this channel. We are thriving out of this and we're trying to walk in our call. And in order to do that, you have to really face some harsh realities. You have to really face some harsh truth. You have to really start looking at yourself. That's really what healing does to you once you've been abused by these types of people. My intention is not to sit on this channel and tell y'all what y'all want to hear. I'm not here to tell myself what I want to hear. I'm not here to have a pity party, none of that. My emotions are real, my thoughts are real, and it is not by force that you have to be subscribed or that you have to watch. Anyways, enough of that. We are going to get straight into today's video. You guys, we are talking about narcissism in Africa. We are talking about why most Africans are narcissists. So if you're new to my channel or if you don't know this about me, my ethnic background is West African. I was born in Ghana, but I grew up here in the United States. I've lived here since I was 6 years old. When we talk about narcissism and narcissistic behavior, we all know that it evolves around emotional abuse. It evolves around manipulation, right? It evolves around control. People wanting to control other people, wanting to control other people's thoughts and emotions. And this may be very true for most foreign countries, but in particular, in Africa, because I can speak from my own personal experience. African homes raise children with very controlling tactics. They literally enforce children to be what they want them to be. They literally prevent their children from being inspired to live their own dreams. You are told what you're going to be when you grow up. And the pressure is so serious that if you don't stand on that and if you don't live on that, they dismiss you and they disown you. Family members doing unimaginable things right up under the nose of parents. Some of the biggest and darkest secrets in African homes is deep molestation, ancestral molestation, molestation from uncles and aunts and moms and dads that will never be spoken about. Cycles that have been happening years and years and years, and everyone just keeps pushing it under the rug. The cycle of abuse is so serious because if you dare expose it, you're going to get shamed for it. How dare you not forgive and forget in an African household? How dare you talk about being depressed or having anxiety in an African household? How dare you talk about mental disorder or mental illness or mental health in an African household? We all know that narcissists control people emotionally. In an African household, there is little to no emotions being shown at home. Most African households, you will never hear an I love you from anybody. They might pretend to be a happy, loving family, but at home, the children, they're not consoled when they're sad. They're not allowed to cry. African households were told, why are you crying? Stop crying. I get it, we want to have tough children, but Jesus, telling a child not to cry when they need to cry it out and let those emotions out. These children be sitting somewhere suicidal as hell with these thoughts a lot of African children walking around looking so unhappy. The biggest part of narcissism in Africa is the church. Churches have a mentality that's tied to unhealthy narcissism. So many African leaders operate off of complete narcissistic traits. The way they even talk to their people. Most Africans grow up in church. There's nothing wrong with church. But when church is used to manipulate you and to emotionally control you, that is a major problem. In most African churches, the leader is treated like a god. The leader completely comes first. African pastors or professionals are manipulating people by saying, God told me to tell you. Falsely prophesying things about people's lives and putting people into marriages that they shouldn't be in. Setting people's lives up for a lifetime of suffering. I applaud my mother for taking her children to church. I think that is a great thing for a parent to do. It's just unfortunate that the reasons behind her going to church were not truly pure. And because of that, we ended up being hurt by the people in the church. At the age of 16 years old, around the time where I had become very faithful in the church, there was a youth pastor. He had to be about maybe 5 years older than me. This man came into my life and at first came off as this brother. And at first came off as someone who just wanted to help, wanted to just step in and help because he saw my mother was struggling as a single mother. He noticed, that money wasn't the greatest at home. This man became friends of the family. Before I knew it, through being friends of the family, he started to brainwash me. He went from acting like he wanted to just be like a spiritual leader to me to start telling me that God was showing him that I was his wife. And this guy was so highly respected in the church. Everybody thought he was just a great man of God. He was very young and just very vigilant in Christ. And I looked up to him spiritually because I thought, like, he just loves God. And I just thought that was inspiring. This man managed to become my complete caregiver. Some way, somehow, this man managed to always pick me up, take me shopping, buying me clothes, buying me the latest phones. He bought me my first car. He put me in college. By the time I got to college, I was 18 years old, and that's when he first made his first sexual move on me. And I remember so vividly that I was crying while he was touching me. I was like, why are you doing this? You said I'm gonna be your wife. Why can't you wait till we're married? This man said, well, God said it's okay because you're already my wife. And I remember just feeling so dirty and feeling so disgusted. And on top of that, he recorded it on video like R. Kelly. This man started controlling me sexually from that point on. And I thank God that I went to college. If I did not go to college, I wouldn't have met the friends that I wouldn't have met the people that I met that helped me pour out these feelings and expose what I was going through. And they told me, like, hey, what you're going through, this is not right. He's a man of God. What is he doing? He hasn't even told your parents he want to marry you, and he's telling you he want to marry you. He is manipulating you. He has completely brainwashed you. The entire situation of dealing with that man was a disaster. He ruined my reputation because even before he touched me, people saw that he was doing so much for me, and the African community completely bashed me and disowned me. They talked about me they talked about me like crazy. And it made me run from the town that I lived in because I was like, why is everybody talking about me like this? It's a really sad story to talk about. And I feel the healing behind that, because I suffered so much shame and guilt behind that for years following that, because that was not something that I would have done had I been in my right mind. I was completely deceived and lied to, and I was being manipulated, and it was just sad. And my parents really didn't do anything. They just basically just let this man handle me because they didn't want to deal with me. I don't even know what to call it, but it's really unfortunate. And that is part of my early stages of dealing with the narcissistic community of Africans. And not just only that, just watching the African people in the community. They're constantly gossiping about each other. They're constantly one-upping each other. There's always competition. They go to parties just to see who has the best outfit, just to see who has a new hairstyle. I've watched my mother for years lose friends because of unnecessary competition. The need to always be right in so many Africans is so disgusting. A lot of Africans think they know it all. They think they know everything. The nation of Africa is led by completely corrupt leaders. The people are brainwashed by leadership, and they only move and do as leadership says. There's complete control of the people emotionally. The people barely have a say in a lot of things that happen in the nation. They're constantly lying to the people, withholding information. A lot of Africans are so ignorant to a lot of things because the nation does not want certain information to be exposed to them. Not all Africans are narcissists, because trust and believe, the ones who have healthy minds, they will look at this video and be like, yup, somebody finally said it, because it's real, it's true. Narcissism in Africa is so deep. So deeply rooted. Many Africans are narcissists. Many Africans are being raised by a narcissistic parent. And I know I'm going to look like the bad guy for saying it, but yet again, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to say stuff on this channel that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I don't give a damn. A lot of the African mentalities, a lot of the African culture, a lot of the African traditions is tied around narcissistic ways of thinking. And I know a lot of Africans are going to attack me for saying it, but that's the truth. It is what it is, y'all. Many African leaders are completely stubborn and arrogant, overly arrogant for no reason. They think they're gods, and they really got people treating them as such. Many of the male leaders in African churches are sexual demons. I think it's important that Africans in other foreign countries start to educate themselves about narcissism. Because as foreigners, we shy away from mental health, and that's a problem. That's a problem. That's why we are always under the attack, because we shy away from things that we need. We're so used to pushing everything under the rug. We don't want to address problems. And then we wonder why all these crazy generational curses. But these are all just facts, y'all. Narcissism exists in Africa. A lot of Africans are narcissists. They don't want to hear it. They probably won't accept it. But it's the truth. You guys, this is your girl, Mommy So True. Thank you for tuning in today's video. Until next time.